Okay, so we've had a little bit of a go with what you can expect from a 3, 4, 5-year-old in their language development. Now we're going to look at expressive and receptive language, which are issues that might be developed in this preschool age, and it usually shows up around 3 years, but usually by like 5, 6. If it is not a mental or a physical issue, like a hearing issue, learning disability, autism spectrum, then usually they remedy by 4 or 5. But they might just need a little extra language training or therapy in there. But generally, the kids, if you've been around kids very much, you know that some are, talking away at 2 years of age, and others are quiet until 5, and then they just suddenly start. So we don't want to get too paranoid, but we want to be aware of expressive and receptive language issues. So what are these things that I'm talking about? So basically, expressive language is the use of words, sentences, gestures, and writing to convey meaning and messages to others. Not so much writing at this point, but this is what you're actually expressing. Okay? And receptive is the actual ability to understand. So you're receiving words and knowledge. So that's the difference between expressive is you're actually using words and sentences, and receptive, you are actually receiving them. Expressive is not just you get to express your feelings. I know sometimes we think that. It's actually expressing everything, words, sentences, gestures in there. Okay. So let's have a little bit of a go with each one of these. So the importance of a child being able to express themselves, I'm just going to read this, enables children to be able to express their wants and needs, thoughts and ideas, argue a point of view, develop their use of language and writing, and engage in successful interactions with others. So they need to be able to express through words. You hear parents say to their kids, use your words. They're referring to use your expressive language. Now, this is an excellent website describing the importance of expressive language, and we're actually going to have a little bit of a go with it. I'm going to explain that on a little later on in this lecture. Okay. What I want you to do now is I want you to look at what does expressive language difficulty look like. So if a child actually is having difficulty expressing themselves, what does this look like? So again, stop me, go have a listen to this from 1:15 to 2:45, and I think it'll help you sort of solidify what expressive language difficulty looks like. Okay. Doesn't she have a very soothing Australian accent in there? Yes, makes hopefully you didn't read that or listen to that when you were tired. Okay, so this is what we're going to do in Collaborate. So in Collaborate in pairs, one of you will be a parent of a child with expressive language difficulties, and the other will be a preschool teacher of a child with expressive language difficulties. You're going to use this website here to be able to ask and answer the questions posted under Lesson 8 on Blackboard. So I've put some questions there. They basically follow the website. So basically have a look at the website, have a look at the questions, and be able to either answer as the teacher or ask them as the parent. And the parent, I want you to be writing down, when we do this and Collaborate, I want you to be writing down your answers, and then we'll have a discussion. So just have a look at that and be ready to do that in Collaborate. Okay. Let's jump into what is receptive language. So you're receiving the language. The importance of developing receptive language is basically in order to communicate successfully. That's the end of the sentence. Its importance is in order to communicate successfully. There we go. Children who have difficulty understanding receptive language may find it challenging to follow instructions, respond appropriately to questions, or stay focused or engaged with schoolwork. It's because they're not receiving the language. So they might be just receiving parts of sentences, or they might just be receiving one word and then not another. So that's where if a child has a hearing issue or they have a learning disability, this may show up in receptive language. Again, excellent website. It's the same website that you're going to deal with a little later on. But again, what I think if you watch this little video from the times that I have listed here, again, it'll give you a little bit of an idea. And take some notes from here because you will use those again in your Collaborate time. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. So hopefully it'll our random pairs will stay, and you can just have one of you will be a parent of a child with receptive language difficulties, and the other will be a preschool teacher of a child with receptive language difficulties. Again, use the website to be able to ask and answer the questions posed and under lesson 8. So again, we're just going to flip so that you get a chance to actually talk through some of these potential ways to help a child if they have a receptive language issue in their preschool, in preschool. Okay, so just to finish off this little talk on preschool language development, I want you to just have a look at examples of a 5-year-old talking and I think the last one is a 5.5-year-old. So the first one is a little guy who's talking about letting his future kids paint their own walls. So again, quite abstract. And this one here is one of my favorites. It's a young, her name is Kylie, and she's actually on the Ellen show being interviewed by Ellen. So she's very, very entertaining. And so again, think about, remember the little baby just 5 years ago was lying on the bed, just kind of cooing and reacting. And now she's on the Ellen show. Right? Kind of crazy. And so have a bit of a go with those. Be thinking about how amazing language development is. And then finally, this is how some preschoolers use language. Again, this is Noah Ritter. You might have seen him. He's become a bit of a YouTube sensation, which is kind of interesting. But this was one of his first interviews. So again, from our little newborn baby to being able to talk on TV in 5 amazing years. All right, hope you enjoyed that little romp through preschool, and we will continue on in the next lesson on elementary age language development. Take care.